Welcome, people of Earth. This is Earth Farming for Humans by Xenomorph Farms. I'm your host, Thoth the Alien. With me as always, Alien Infinity. Say hello, AI. AI? Did I leave her plugged in? Oh, you know what? I did ask her to go to Earth for some cocoa choir a couple days ago. I should look into that. Moving on. So, today we have a very exciting episode. I get to physically show you the difference between a male and a female plant. Also, we go through our next trimming to get more light to those bud sites. They're really starting to develop now. Also, to end with, we're going to go over netting and training, which is a simple tutorial. So, let's get into it. So, the first thing that I'm going to point out is the structure. As you can see, as I mentioned before, between these two females and the male I discovered, you can see the spacing. It's wider. So this is going to try to get taller so it can shoot its pollen up into the air to make sure that it propagates with the females. So that's one sign to look for. If you have two of the same, like we do these monster blood, and one seems to be spacing further apart than the other, start to check for your ball sack. So, speaking of, let's zoom in here and I'll show you exactly what we're looking for. Now, you can see right here, this is the ball sacks. That's definitely a male. Those are filling up with pollen as we speak so it can spread out and pollinate these females. But we're not going to let that happen. We're going to get him out of here. But let me show you what you're looking for on the female. This one may be a little bit more difficult to see, but if you look right in here, you'll see the little hairs. That is future flower sites. These two are definitely female. So, to protect the flowers that are soon to come, big boy hair's gotta go. But no worries, we don't kill things here. We're gonna send it to a nice farm upstate. Speaking of untamed bush, take a look at these flower sites. We got some nice hairs growing here. That's right, fresh and fuzzy. So, now we're going to get to the trim. As you can see with our little green friend, she is thick, she is full, and she is ready for these flower sites to be uncovered. So, there's really, can't say any particular rhyme or reason. Well, there's a reason, but it's kind of chaotic when you get to this point. This trim is about 21 days into your flowering cycle. As you see, we're well into our flowering cycle. I believe we're exactly 21 days. So that's why all these flower sites are really booming, especially at the top. This is called the cola. You'll understand when it gets fully grown. That is going to be your biggest flower out of the entire plant.
Like Coca-Cola?
I don't think so, but it's going to be just as tasty. Let's get started. I'm going to walk you through, and we're going to pull off some of these leaves. Okay. Now we're going to take off some of these big ones. You really want to get that light throughout the whole plant. Look at the size of that, humans. That's bigger than your head. Now you'll notice some of these leaves you could pop right off, mostly down towards the bottom here. So if they come off easy, your plant's definitely ready to let those leaves go. So that's a pretty good test if you're not sure a certain leaf to pull. Just go down to the base where it meets the stem, give a little push, and if it comes off, she was ready.
Like shaking a hand.
Now some of these, they don't have the developing water leaves like I was showing you a little bit ago. But even though there's no water leaves developing close to this little bud site, some of these you still want to take off just because it's shadowing the light from this lower buds. So we won't start taking a lot of this lower stuff off that's not going to develop real well until our next trim, which is closer to week 6 or 7. That way we'll know what's actually going to be worth keeping and what is worth taking off. Also very, very important, humans, that I probably should have pointed out first. When you do snip, get as close to the stem or the branch as you can with your snips without damaging the flower sites or the new water leaves. That'll also help keep down the stress. Trimming is a very stressful event for your plant. So you want to be gentle, you want to be kind. So know what you're taking off. Make sure that you're not taking off anything important. And also, do your technique, because you don't want to hack them up and cause them a lot of pain. They won't produce very well for you if you hurt them. Alright, here you go, humans. Now, as you can see, don't be afraid to make her a little naked. You want to get that light shining over every single one of those flower sites. So, side-to-side comparison, you can see how much we actually took off. This isn't even all of it. There's some over there for Space Cat Taco. So, we're trimmed, we're slimmed, and we're ready for more light. Now, the reason that you can go so extreme with these, they're still within week 3 have a vegetative side. So not only are they starting to focus on their flower sites, but they still have a lot of focus on their water leaves and full development overall. So, day 21 trim, slim them up, humans. Okay, my earth friends, now that we got the girls set up with their high and tight, what's next, AI?
Somebody call Earth actor Denzel Washington, 'cause it's training day, bitches!
That's right. And by training day, we're going to use this trellis net, red, some zip ties, and then we're going to cast a tight net over top of these plants. And what that's going to help do is we can spread these branches apart to make sure that the rest of the plant gets a lot more light. Also, not something we particularly have to worry about with these individual plants. They're not going to get too much taller. But if you want to grow a sativa, which normally is a lot taller, you can use the trellis net and keep bringing that cola down, and that will utilize your small space. So you'll see that it'll lay flat in the net, but when you come back the next day, that branch will start going up towards the light again. So, we're going to get started. Break out our little net here. Oh, something I'd like to point out while I'm unfurling our net here. I want to show you the difference of a indica-leaning hybrid and a sativa-leaning hybrid. You'll notice that they're hybrids because this one got fatter leaves, but it still has at least 7 or more. So it is a hybrid, but the fat leaves indicate, and the short stature, that it's indica leaning. So if I were to guess, it's probably about 60 or 70% indica. Now this one, you'll notice the thin finger leaves. This one is a sativa leaning hybrid. You'll notice it's a little taller and a little wider, so it leans more on the sativa side. Just something a little extra for you. Yep, you got it, AI. Good job. I'll have to get you some cocoa later.
I love cocoa. Oh no.
One more zip tie. And there you have it, Earthlings. Nice, tight trellis net. Dong. I think that was a G chord. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to move this down over the plants, and then we're going to pull some of those branches through these different squares, and that's going to pull the plant further apart to get that light all the way through. What do you think, AI?
Fantastic.
So there you have it, humans. We're fully netted. As you see, we're pulling those branches. Each one gets their own little home, individual squares. And then as they grow up, you continue to pull them out. And that'll fill the entire space of your tent. And then eventually they'll stop growing up and they'll start growing out with the flowers. So that's about it for this episode. So we'll be back. And hopefully by then we have some much bigger flowers. But until then, it's Thought and AI saying keep farming, humans.
Goodbye.